I'm here in the bowling with Sam Wallace. You probably all recognise him from the Sunday Supplement. He is also Daily Telegraph writer, journalist. Sam, just your views on today's game, first of all, 3-3 with Arsenal.
Well, I thought it was one of the games of the season. It was a brilliant game, and I don't think when the second goal went in for Arsenal that you could have predicted that they'd be scrapping for a draw by the end of it. I thought West Ham got it wrong earlier. I don't watch them every week like you do, but I thought that Arsenal had far too much time and space in midfield, and Iwobi picked those two passes, didn't he, for the two goals, and then they collapsed as Arsenal often do. They collapsed just before half time, conceded two goals. As Wenger said, they gave West Ham great hope, gave themselves a bit of a mountain to climb, and Andy Carroll just made such a big difference.
We did, didn't he? I mean, do you think he was? Do you think that's over for Arsenal? Do you? Their title, not only their title push, but any hope to sort of even overtaking Spurs. I mean, he wasn't happy in the press conference, was he, Wenger?
No, I've seen him worse, but it's difficult because we're talking now not knowing what the results are going to be elsewhere. So I think there's a few more twists in it. I didn't go into this game expecting Arsenal really still have a chance in the title race, but I still think they've got a chance. Obviously, they've got a chance of catching Tottenham. I'm not sure whether they'll catch Leicester, but no, I still think there's a few more twists. But it just seems to me with Arsenal that history repeats itself. This was potentially a great result, which turned into a terrible result, and then they salvage something, and that's what they often do. They don't quite go for the full disaster, but they take the edge off that and they sort of stumble on.
Well, I've always thought with them, often a door opens and they just don't walk through it, and as they sort of capitulate at the important pivotal times during the season. Just in terms of, we're stood in the bowling now, what are your thoughts about that and us moving to Stratford? This might even be your last time here.
I was just thinking, actually, my little brother's a big West Ham fan. I met him outside earlier and we were talking about that. And I've come here a lot as a kid as well, and it's a fantastic stadium, and we are losing our great sort of Victorian stadiums. And this was originally, you might know your history better than me. Maybe actually it might be Edwardian, I'm not sure. But when it was first built, but once they're gone forever, aren't they? And one thing I won't miss is the press room, which is tiny, and the press box itself. But I don't want to be one of these old grumbling journalists who says, "Oh, I don't like it here because it's a bit inconvenient for me to get my laptop out." It's a fantastic stadium with so much history, and I don't know what the Olympic Stadium will be like. I mean, it'll probably be easier for us to work as journalists, but I look at Wembley. England-wise, have I ever seen a great England night at the new Wembley? I'm not sure I have yet, since it was built in 2007. So it's up to West Ham. It's a very good team they've got at the moment to try and make that stadium special. But yeah, it will feel very strange when this place is gone, and I'm sure for the fans themselves and the people who have businesses around here, it's a profound change in their lives.
Yeah, well, it's certainly going to be an emotional last game here, that's for sure. I think that's sort of offset by the excitement, so we're the sort of the head's pulling you one way and the heart's sort of tugging you back to the bowling. But having said that, this has changed beyond all recognition, apart from the old East stand over there. Anyway, this is pretty far away from the original stand, and actually, if you're just looking behind us here, the seats are actually quite far away from the pitch. So people talk about maybe the Olympic Stadium with the retractable seating, it being close to the pitch. Actually, it's quite far away as it is anyway. So just finally, just to wrap up, a quick word maybe on our talisman, Dimitri Payet.
He's wonderful, isn't he? We were talking about him earlier, and the funny thing is, because he's 29, I think a lot of clubs didn't really look at him closely, and it just goes to show that if you take it's very hard to scout players. It's not hard to see who does well in his domestic league. It's just hard to imagine a lot of players how they perform in the Premier League. And the great conundrum was always Luis Suarez. I know Spurs looked at him for a long time and weren't sure whether he would be a Premier League footballer. Of course, we all know the answer to that now. And I think that the same thing was with Payet. People saw the talent, but they weren't quite prepared to take the risk on what he would be like in a different context. And it's just paid off beautifully. I think when I watch him, and I don't see him as much as you do, I think what really stands out for me is he's obviously got great ability, but he does try things. I think a lot of footballers are quite conservative, and I think they're discouraged to do it. But today, when he put the ball through Coquelin's legs, I thought in a funny way, Coquelin was relieved, because I think he was worried about what else he was going to do. And actually having the ball stuck through his legs wasn't the worst thing that might have happened to him. He turned Alexis Sanchez inside out, didn't he, in the first half as well? And Sanchez fouled him for quite a decent free kick. So he's not just doing it to average players; he's doing it to very good ones as well. And of course, I'd like to see one of those free kicks and actually be there when one of them goes in. But yeah, he's a remarkable player, and I think they'll get another couple of years out of him. I do.
Oh, no, I think so. We were very lucky, and I think you're right about the age of the 29. I think if he was 24, then I don't think we'd see him beyond the end of this season. You know, let's be perfectly honest. But we certainly, as fans, always feel that we've got a chance when he's in the team, and when he's in tandem with Lanzini. It's just the football has changed beyond all recognition this season. But yeah, so we're happy. Listen, thanks, Sam. Really appreciate you
Nice to meet
taking
you.
the time. Thank you. Cheers.
All right, good.